Are you convinced that everything has to be going really well for you to feel okay inside? Or that you have to be some level of amazing before you can feel okay? I know all about that because for a long time that was me. And yesterday I noticed that old pattern trying to rise up. So pull up a chair. I'm going to tell you all about it. And I bet you'll see yourself in this example too. So, yesterday was kind of an uncomfortable day for me. I had too much on my plate. I ran into an issue with my work that required me to do some research that I wasn't planning on. I didn't feel like I had enough time to take care of everything and take care of myself. Just kind of seemed like nothing was really working out the way I wanted it to. And then I noticed that feeling starting to taint everything else around me. Suddenly, dinner didn't turn out as well as I had hoped. I told myself, oh, you're not spending enough quality time with the kids. My house didn't look clean enough. And my mind just kept finding all the ways things weren't okay. And I was feeling less and less okay inside. Thankfully, I've been down this road enough times that I recognized what was happening. I was leaning into an old adapted belief of mine. Everything has to be going perfectly or darn close to perfectly for me to feel okay, for me to feel safe. And this was one of the many adapted beliefs I developed early in life and that ran my life for a very long time. And understanding our adapted beliefs is really crucial because our adapted beliefs become the operating systems of our entire lives. They affect what we notice, what things mean to us, how we feel, what happens in our nervous system, and how we respond to things. Eventually, they shape the life we're living. So today I want to take this one belief, everything has to be going perfectly for me to feel okay, and follow it all the way through. Where does a belief like this come from? How does it affect the way you experience your life? Why is it so hard to not believe that anymore? And most importantly, how do you begin to feel okay even when everything around you isn't? Because that's where we start moving out of the adapted self and allowing our expansive self to lead. A couple weeks ago, I uploaded a video all about the adapted and expansive selves. I'll link it in the video description below. But basically, there are two versions of all of us, the adapted self and the expansive self. The adapted self is the version that developed based on our experiences. All of us, we take in information from what's happening around us and in us. We make sense of that. And then we use it to run our lives, right? Over time, these conclusions, they become the beliefs about who we needed to be and how life needed to work in order for us to be okay. And those beliefs, they made sense when they formed, but lots of us are still living according to them without realizing how much they continue to shape our lives in ways that we don't like. The expansive self over here is who we have the opportunity to become as we recognize those old adaptations and discover that we have more choices available to us now. It isn't a perfected version of us who never gets overwhelmed, disappointed, scared, or thrown off. It's the resourced, capable, authentic, or we could even say original version of us. So the belief that everything has to be going really right for me to be okay is an adapted belief that makes life more challenging than it needs to be. So to understand this further, let me introduce you to Michelle. Michelle grew up in a home where her parents loved her, but they were also very hard on her. And whenever she didn't excel, right? A B wasn't terrible, but why wasn't it an A? If she forgot something or didn't do what she was supposed to, the way she was supposed to, there was a lot of criticism. And when she was doing well, things at home felt easier. She got praise. Her parents were proud of her, and that made her feel good about herself. Then there was school. She wanted to fit in. She saw, oh, these are the popular girls, and she gathered information about what makes someone acceptable, right? You have to have the right clothes. Your body should look a certain way. You shouldn't be awkward. You should always know what to say. You don't want to be the girl that everyone's talking about, right? And she had some experiences of being left out, and that hurt. So now here's another place where she learned there are ways I need to be if I want to feel okay. Then culture piled on, magazines that show her what her body's supposed to look like, television that says this is what beautiful and successful looks like. Social media arrives eventually for her, and now she can compare the messiness of her own life with everyone else's carefully curated version of theirs, right? So there's always someone prettier, thinner, more successful, with a nicer house, better behaved kids, a happier marriage, more excitement, right? So Michelle never sat down and said, I've decided everything needs to be perfect. She just kept receiving the same message in hundreds of different forms. I need to be better. Things need to be better. And then there is another piece of this that is incredibly important. Nobody taught Michelle what to do when things weren't okay, right? What happens when she gets the B and feels she disappointed her parents? What does she do with that feeling? What happens when she isn't invited to the party and feels rejected? What happens when she looks in the mirror and doesn't like her body? What happens when somebody's upset with her, when she tries and fails, right? What does she do with the discomfort of wondering, am I enough? What if they don't like me? What if I can't fix this? What if this situation doesn't turn out the way I want it to, right? She wasn't taught how to notice those feelings in her body, to understand why they are there, to stay with herself in it, to help herself move through it. Instead, she learned to try to make the discomfort go away by fixing everything or die trying, right? I feel bad because I got a B, study harder, get the A. I feel bad about my body, lose weight. I feel left out, figure out how to be more likable or impressive. My parents are disappointed, do better, right? Maybe I don't feel successful enough, accomplish more. Something in my life feels uncertain, control it, right? Now, very occasionally, our efforts might pay off for a short time, that is, right? Maybe she could work harder and get an A and feel better, right? Or lose a little weight and get compliments, right? The discomfort goes away for a moment anyway. And this just provides more evidence for her belief. Oh, yep. See, this is how we get okay. We make things better. We make ourselves better, right? And if we do that enough times, eventually you have a very powerful operating system. If something doesn't feel okay, fix it, make it better, make me better, make the situation better, get it as close to perfect as possible so I can feel okay again. And now, so Michelle grows up. And now the number of things she's responsible for has exploded, right? Now she has a body to take care of, maybe children, a relationship, a career, money, a home, aging parents, friendship, retirement, her own future, all of it. And now a world that regularly provides the information that it's not enough, right? And so she finds what's wrong, she fixes it so she can feel okay, right? She gets caught up at work. And then she notices, oh, I haven't exercised enough. And then she starts exercising and realizes, oh, I've been ordering takeout too much. And she starts cooking. And then she worries she isn't spending enough quality time with the kids, right? She plans something with the kids and then notice how messy the house is. She gets the house cleaned and her partner seems distant. They reconnect. And then she looks at the bank account. Like it just keeps going, right? And it isn't necessarily because her life is particularly bad, right? There's simply always something in a human life that could be better. And this is where we get to the real challenge with this adapted belief. Michelle, and I did too, missed out on so much of life because we were trying to reach a place that doesn't exist. The promise underneath all of this has always been, if I can perfect myself and everything else, then everything will be great. I'll be safe. I'll be enough. I'll finally feel good inside. But that place is a fantasy. There's never going to be a Tuesday when Michelle wakes up and her body is exactly how she wants it. Her kids are thriving in every possible way. Her relationship is completely secure. The house is perfect. Work is finished. Everyone loves her. Her health is guaranteed. There's plenty of money forever. Nothing frightening is happening in the world. Nobody she loves is struggling. There's nothing uncomfortable on her calendar, right? That day isn't coming. And yet, that is the imaginary destination where many of us place our permission to be okay, to feel okay. But it's a mirage. she keeps walking toward it. Just get this handled, right? Just fix this part. Just make a little more money. Just lose those pounds. Just get through this project. But she keeps thinking, right? She's almost there. She's almost there. And the horizon moves steadily away. Which brings me back to yesterday. I had a legitimate work challenge. I didn't have the time I wanted. I felt uncomfortable. My old operating system offered its familiar solution. You can't be okay right now. Find what's wrong and fix it, right? Suddenly dinner was wrong. I wasn't spending enough time with the kids. The house wasn't clean enough. My mind just kept producing the things that were broken so I could fix them, so I could feel better. But the difference now isn't that I have finally created the fantasy life where everything goes perfectly all the time. The difference is that I've learned how to recognize when I'm traveling the road to that fantasy land before I spend the whole day, week, month, years running down it. That's my expansive self. And this is where the work gets really important, because if the perfect life doesn't exist, we have to learn how to feel safe in the life that does exist, that is available to us right now. And that doesn't mean we stop fixing things that truly need to be fixed and can be fixed. It doesn't mean we stop wanting things, improving things, taking care of ourselves, or creating more of what we want in our lives. It doesn't mean that. It means that you get to feel okay while you do it. So, what can you start with today? The first thing I had to recognize yesterday was I didn't need to fix everything that suddenly felt wrong. I needed to tend to the part of me that didn't feel okay. So I brought my attention into my body and noticed where I was feeling that sense that things weren't okay. So I placed my hand there and just stayed with it for a while. I wasn't trying to talk myself out of anything. I wasn't telling myself that everything was fine because everything didn't feel fine. I was reminding myself of something else. I can feel okay. I can be safe even when things aren't going the way I think I want them to. And that's a very different message from telling myself that everything's okay. Everything doesn't have to be okay for me to be okay. Then instead of asking, how do I fix this? I ask myself, what do you need from me right now to feel more resourced? And that's an important distinction. I'm not asking what needs to change in my life so that I can stop feeling uncomfortable. I'm asking what I can offer myself so that I have more capacity for the discomfort that's already here. So yesterday, I used my panda drum for a few minutes. Other times I might go for a walk. I might use my somatic practices. What I choose isn't nearly as important as what I'm doing. I'm helping my nervous system settle enough that I can come back to my expansive self and let her lead. Because once she's there, I can look at the exact same circumstances very differently. Some things really do need my attention. The work issue wasn't imaginary. I needed more time than I planned for. So I reworked my schedule and made room for it. Spending time with my kids matters, so I sat at the dinner table with them a few extra minutes. Other things didn't need to be fixed at all. Dinner wasn't as good as I hoped. Okay, I could be disappointed about that. The house wasn't as clean as I wanted it to be. It could stay that way for a day or a few, right? And that's one of the biggest differences for me. When my adapted self is leading, everything that doesn't feel right can start to feel like something I need to fix immediately. But when I come back to my expansive self, I can decide what actually needs my attention and what I genuinely want to change and what I can simply allow to be imperfect. And I'm much more effective from there, right? I'm not spending my energy trying to fix 6 things when only one actually needed my attention. I'm not making decisions from that desperate feeling that I get before that I need to get everything under control before I can feel okay. I can respond to what's actually happening, take care of what matters, and let some things be disappointing or unfinished. The discomfort can still give me information, right? Maybe I really have taken on too much. Maybe I do want to spend more time with my kids. Maybe there's something about my health, work, relationship, whatever I want to change. I don't have to dismiss those things as immediate, as adaptations. I just don't have to make the change from emergency. I can resource myself first, come back to my expansive self, and then decide what deserves my attention and what can just be imperfect today. Now, because a beautiful life, it's not where everything is going beautifully all the time. It's a life I get to enjoy when things are going well and still feel connected to myself and resource even when they're not. There's always going to be things that we want to change. There will be disappointments and hard days. There'll be things I wish had gone differently. There'll also be days when everything seems to fall into place, and I want to enjoy those days. I don't need all of those things to line up anymore before I get to feel okay. And that's really what moving from the adapted self towards the expansive self gives us. We stop spending our lives trying to get to the imaginary place where everything is finally right, and we build the safety and capacity to live the life that's here while continuing to create more of what we want. If you recognize yourself in what I have shared today, and you want to understand more about how your own adaptations formed and how to begin shifting away from them, that's exactly what I teach in my book, You're Not the Problem. It will help you start identifying the beliefs and the patterns that have been shaping your life and give you practices for building the safety and capacity you need to live more and more from your expansive self. I'll put the link for the book below. And remember, if you do find yourself acting from adaptive beliefs like we all do from time to time, it doesn't mean you're the problem. It means you're a human. So take a moment to help the channel grow by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and forwarding the video on to someone who needs to be reminded that they're not the problem. I'll see you soon.